Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to yet another Jash Talks. Now, sadly, I don't have any guest. A Vexel isn't going to suddenly appear. So yeah, and I just want to say that if you want to be a guest on here, contact me via Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, wherever. You can also contact me on YouTube, but I don't know if I'm going to. And also I'm on Manic Expression, so you can contact me anytime there. Anyways, for those of you who don't know, Jash Talks is this weekly series I do where I answer your questions and talk about any topics you ask me to. Unfortunately, yet again, no one has sent me in jack shit, so I have to go by what I found interesting this week. And please, even though you missed your chance to send in stuff for this week, please send in stuff for, next time. Sorry, Dad might be here. Anyways, very rarely do I get to see movies in theaters, just because I don't have usually the transportation to see it myself. I could take the bus system, but buses suck. They really fucking do. And so I usually depend on Dad, since I myself can't drive. And so my dad usually does, but like if I want to see a horror movie, I really, really love horror movies, but Dad doesn't, so that means he usually doesn't drive me to those. So this last week, I got to finally see Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I was like really excited to see it. I keep up with the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I know the latest few episodes interconnect with the Winter Soldier, so it's like I want to see the movie, and it's great that the show is actually interconnecting with the movieverse like that. And I really appreciate how the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ties in with the Winter Soldier, because how it tied in with Thor: The Dark World was really a disappointment. I was like, oh yeah, you need to see, Thor: The Dark World to understand what's happening, and all that you don't really need to see that movie at all to understand the episode, because all that ties in with the Thor: The Dark World is, that what happened to area where the final battle took place. So I got to see the Winter Soldier, and it was really, really good. I have my written review on my blog, jashikins.blogspot.com, and the movie it's good. We get to see more of Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, which was great because she's always great kicking ass, and her morality is really vastly different than Steve Rogers, aka Captain America. And so it's great seeing those two interacting, being friendly towards each other. So I think my favorite scene with series of scenes with the pair together was in the mall when Steve is just recently on the run, and Black Widow is very calm, because that's sort of her thing. She's an assassin, so she's supposed to fit in. She's probably been in situations like this, not being chased by S.H.I.E.L.D., or maybe before, so she's calm, while Steve is like really nervous because he's a soldier. He can fight. But going undercover is sort of a different thing. So that's great. That was a great scene where it's Natasha who's helping hold Steve together. And of course, Bucky as the Winter Soldier this was something that was supposed to be in a reveal, but posters, the fact that I am on Tumblr and such, and sort of in the company of nerds, and so once the title for this Captain America movie was released, people were going basically that Bucky was alive. So for a long time, that's all I knew. I just knew Bucky was alive. I didn't realize how fucking painful it was going to be. And I was like, oh, god damn it. But yeah, Bucky, yeah, it's one of those situations where you like a character and you're like, I want to see the character alive, but not like this. Because what has happened, in between the two Captain America movies is that Bucky has been brainwashed, and so he's fighting for Hydra. And one of the painful scenes is when you see him, sort of in the chair, and you know that he could easily kill everyone in the room, but he doesn't because he's been trained like a little dog. Yeah. That was, even though, the whole reveal was ruined like long beforehand, I like seeing Steve reacting to finding out that, his best friend, the friend that sort of he depended on, the friend who, when Steve thought he died, he went, I'm just going to kill every fucker in sight. Just seeing that, Bucky's actually alive and now the enemy. That was still powerful stuff. So even, knowing the identity of the Winter Soldier, the storyline still has impact. And yeah, you can guess by the title of this week's video that I ship Stucky, Steve and Bucky. And I think it's partially a reaction to me not really liking Stoney, aka Steve and Tony. It's like, I don't see it. I mean, maybe some fics, some pictures, gift sets are, cute and adorable. And, people who work on those, kudos to you. But like when I go to the Avengers tag, usually if I see any ships there, it will be Stoney, and my OTP is Tony and Bruce, Bruce Banner / the Hulk, and I would really like to just see some of that there, but usually there's not, and it sucks. I think the reason I don't really like Stoney is because there's so much of it, and there's not enough of this shit I like. Now, if you're wondering who else I ship, Tony and Bruce with, I also ship Bruce with Natasha, and I think that's the whole thing with liking that ship, is the fact that Natasha has to face her fear because, the Hulk isn't a type of enemy she's used to. She's used to being able to manipulate, and you can't manipulate the Hulk. Not like a regular person. So I ship them, and of course Bruce and Betty. Mind you, I have never read any, really, the comics, so I sort of read up like a little bit about, how their relationship evolves. Not that much, because I don't want to spoil myself, and when I finally do read the comics. But I like them together, and I think Betty is really overlooked in at least the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is really sad because I loved her in The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. I would love to see her returning because I really fucking wonder what the hell happened. Because I don't think Bruce is one just to say, hey, love of my life, Betty. Just, like, not check up on her or anything. I mean, the Avengers didn't touch on her. And yet the Avengers still made time for Thor and Jane. Just like a throwaway line, but Betty didn't even get a throwaway line. And now with Captain America, the Winter Soldier, you see Steve reconnecting with Peggy. And that's a painful scene. It's like, you'll have to see it yourself and you'll see what I mean. But yeah, I want to know about Betty. Really, really do. Well, my favorite show that's airing is, of course, Hannibal. And it's one of those damn shows where, like, every single season you're wondering, is it going to get renewed? Is it going to get renewed? I want it to get renewed, but it might not get renewed, and it really sucks to be a fan of that show. Those kind of shows that you're like, you have to struggle on, and you can't go from season to season going, oh, I know it's going to be renewed, la 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 la. I watch a few shows that I know are not going to be in danger of being canceled, but it sucks when you really like a show and it might not. And Hannibal, I believe it's not confirmed whether or not it's going to get a third season. And today on Tumblr, starting around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I joined in like a little bit, not a lot. I tweeted some of my own stuff, and then I retweeted a bunch, and then I had other stuff to do. So I joined in a little bit, but earlier today, the hashtag was Renew Hannibal, and you could also suggested to tag NBC, all of NBC, not just NBC Hannibal. Say this is the reason why you should renew this show, and I tried to be professional, and other people weren't. And while I do think that cannibalism, just joking about, hey, you're going to disappoint fans that, adore Cannibal, and jokes along that nature, they're funny, but I don't think if you're trying to convince a station that, hey, maybe you should renew this, you go, hey, we might eat you. It's like funny, but it's like I might have favorited one or two of those, but I wasn't like retweeting them. So like it's funny, but yeah. Yeah, I really hope Hannibal does get renewed for its full run of seasons, which I believe is supposed to be 5 to 7 seasons. Just what Hannibal has done recently, just in the 2 seasons it's been given, it's good shit. It's just visually, it's a marvel. It's just every shot seems to be tailored with care. The acting is good. While no one can replace Anthony Hopkins, Mads Mikkelsen as Hannibal Lecter really gives him a run for his money. And Hugh Dancy, besides making the character of Will Graham believable, relatable, and you root for him, he is hot. He's cute and adorable, and he likes dogs. How can you hate someone who likes dogs? You can't. He has like 9 or 10 at least. And I remember during season 1 when people were like, I'm trying to write a fic, but I don't know the names for the dogs, and I'm just thinking, LOL, that's so funny. Why do you bother with that? And then when I wrote my own Hannibal fic, In Between the Darkening, I was like, shit, this is hard. It's like this one little detail you don't really think about when you're watching, but when you're trying to write something, you realize, shit, this is important. So yeah, Hannibal is really one of the best things on television right now. It's one of the television series that people deserve. And even if you aren't a horror fan, cannibalism turns you off, I think you should really try to push towards this show being renewed, just so that people know that they can take a chance with stuff and see rewards. Because that's really a big, big problem. Because what happens with television a lot of the times is that people try to take risks, and then their shows get canceled early on. And it's never like, television and movies and such are a money business. I know like shitload of people are probably going to be watching this and going, well, you should write and do stuff because you like and not because you get paid. It's like, that's bullshit. That's great if you live in this idealistic world, but in the real world, people have bills to pay, mouths to feed. So yeah, you should be pushing for Hannibal to be renewed, to keep on air, so people that say don't, write horror shows can maybe write a good, if you're into romance, maybe they'll do something creative with some romance story, maybe, maybe pushing things with the LGBTQ plus community. Sorry, I was like trying to think of what sexuality should I choose. There's so many out there. I was like, what should I pick? What should I say for an example? And like, screw it, just go with the whole community. So, having the LGBTQ plus community, something in that nature, and not just, two straight people having a relationship and not having, relationships outside the heteronormative, just get something more diverse out there. But a lot of, writers and production companies might think, stuff like that wouldn't be safe, and it is a money-making business, so I'm really rooting for Hannibal to be renewed. Really, because I need it to be given its full run, because I think it's one of those shows that if they go, oh, we have time to make the ending so that in case it gets canceled, will be satisfying. And I don't think it'll do that. It'll just be like, oh, we'll just leave a cliffhanger. I'm a Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles fan. I see when that planning goes to shit. Yes, I am still upset over that fucking season 2 cliffhanger. And, finally, hang on. I help manage Manic Expressions Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. And usually nothing really exciting happens. Maybe, some people on one of those things might start a chat, and I'll be like, yay, I'm having fun, I'm communicating with other people. But there's never really anything that says, hey, this looks funny as hell. And is this person serious, or is this person not serious? So, but this week I had that. Yesterday, someone replied to something I shared on the Manic Expressions Facebook page, and the person goes, you're obviously... Oh, okay, let me back up. I really should plan this shit ahead. But the thing I shared was a review for The Other Woman. And the person who wrote the review, I believe, was a man. And so a woman replied to, on the Facebook page, replied, "You're obviously not a woman, so don't state your opinion." And just like, what? And one of the other people who managed the page said, a Fusinator, yes, he was the person who replied to the comment, said, "Not sure why you saw fit to say that on this link, since the person who shared it, now me, is in fact a woman. And B, it's a movie review." It's a movie review, so the reviewers are able to review anything, even if no matter their gender, sexual identity, they can review whatever they want. And so yeah, it's just like, what? Is she mad that I posted the link? And how could she know, if she's referring to me sharing the link, how could she tell that I'm obviously not a man? I mean, obviously not a woman. Is there like something with sharing it that, just makes me look all manly? I mean, I posted by posting the link and then using a little hashtag. I would consider that very gender neutral. And then if she's like complaining that a man is reviewing the movie, I mean, it's a movie. People have opinions. People go into theaters, people read books, and they come out with opinions. If you disagree with them or not, that's perfectly fine. But you can't say, "Hey, you can't review this because, you're this or that." It's like, no. No. That was like comedy fucking gold. I had just come back from something, and so when I saw that, I'm like, they made. Yeah. Just. But anyways, that's it for the topics of this week. Actually, let me double check. Yeah. And if you're wondering about how I reacted to the Almost Human show being canceled, I have a review, not a review, a rant on my main channel, Jashikins, so you can head over there and check it out. It's like one of the, I have for a while now, I've just been doing Jash talks, and that's really been my only videos. And so I finally get another vlog out. Because I heard the news and I'm like, fuck it, this deserves a vlog. I can't convey what I want to just by writing a blog post, and this can't wait for Jash talks. Yeah, and there's one point where I get distracted by nearly spending all the time talking about Firefly, which is an awesome fucking show. Okay, now for blog updates. One, I have the Shormley Chronicles cover contest for the first arc. I did a trial, and basically I'm holding on to Subeta.net, since that's really the only place I can offer prizes, unfortunately, or else I would hold it somewhere else where you don't have to sign up for a new site, but that's the way it works. And the sort of cover I'm looking for, the whole rules are on the forums. My username is Eptis, EOPTIS. I change it yearly. And so if you go to the profile and graphics and there's a contest section, you look for Eptis Me and you'll find it. And it has the rules, when it's due by, and it's going to end on May 9th, or I think I might, since I'm not getting any real reaction from it, I might, once the time comes and goes and no one submits anything, I might just say, okay, fuck it. Okay, closed. So I don't know. I really hope someone will submit a cover. And more of the rules are on the board, but basically the cover I'm looking for is like a B-movie poster. I want like really cheesy, like if you're going down the aisle of the Barnes & Noble and you see the book cover, just roll your eyes. I want that sort of cheese. I like that. Also, Mean Green Shaggy Machine, the final chapter should be coming soon. I've had like shit to do and schedules disrupted, so yeah, I should have gotten it out, and the Now You See Me smut-fic erotica would start after that, but so that chapter should be coming out in a few days. Then The Scrolls of Oija, which is an upcoming original series. The outline is over halfway completed, but I'm slow as hell, getting it done. So it could be a month or two and finished, or it could be 4 or 5 months. Who knows? Yay! I just have let me say, it's not that I don't want to work on it. It's just that I have other things to do, and sometimes, in the time when I go to work on the outline, sometimes I'm just pooped out. Yeah, it should get done. And my forums, if you go on my blog, jashikins.blogspot.com, you'll find a link to them. The layout, I just changed the layout, because, it became May. And this month's quote is from my gift fic to Cat called Tobias and Me. And it was the one line from a chapter or two ago that I really liked, and I want to make a graphic for it. And I was like, yeah, hey, I changed the layout. I'm just going to use this quote. And I like the colors I use, but, go to the forums, sign up, because in the forums, besides, chatting with other fans, and I really, really need the forums to be more active, you'll also get a monthly newsletter. I just sent out the monthly newsletter maybe an hour or two after I got up. And then you also get sneak peeks. Like, if it's going to be more around a day or two until something gets edited and put up, I'll send you a little bit of an unedited version of the post or fic or story. Hey, so, join the forums. Also, I finally got updating the look and feel of the dragondivision.tumblr.com. And it's not finished being updated, it's just I'm at a point where I don't need to update at the moment. You need, really long story short, more information before I start putting links and other stuff. And there are the links to the old link. There's a link to the old links, because it used to be something for a role-playing group, but now it's not. But, just for posterity's sake, I'm putting, the old links on a page, so if you're interested, you can see what it was before. And that has been it, Jash Talks, for this week. Remember that if you have a topic or question you want to ask me, please, please do. I really wanted this show to be me talking with people, me discussing things I knew people were interested in, like a movie being released, what they wanted to know about, anything I did, or, anything. And I will say this right here. I will give away major spoilers if you ask. The only thing I will not spoil will be the end of the series of anything I write. So, if you're like, where is this going to go? Like, where's this going to go? What's going to happen? Please ask that. Remember to keep up with my Twitter at Jashikins. Now I'm using the hashtag Jash Talks, the update of when the next show is going to air. Sometimes I'll do that a week in advance, sometimes 3 or 4 days, sometimes the day of. Really need to get better at that. And also remember that if you want to, join as a guest in any of the upcoming episodes, please do. Just remember, when you are requesting to be a guest, that I'll want you to come up with 2 or 3 topics of your own. I'll have a few topics of my own, and then we'll say, yeah, I think we should drop this topic or not, and we'll have to discuss before airing of what exactly the topics will be. But as you can see with the Vexel's episode from last week, that I can get wildly off a topic, which is why I really like guests to work off of, because then we start. Yeah. So, until next video, goodbye. Oh, and remember, I'm Jashikins from jashikins.blogspot.com. So everywhere you can find me on the web is there, plus articles, reviews, fics, so check out my blog. And until next video, goodbye.